Responsibly. The Pennsylvania Lottery generated more than $1 billion for programs that benefit older Pennsylvanians.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. It's Monday morning, 8:12 in the morning, and it's raining outside, which is nice. I like that a whole lot. Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up-to-date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussions and answers to questions do not involve the rendering of personalized investment advice, but are limited to the dissemination of general information. A professional advisor should be consulted before implementing any of the options presented. Encompass More Asset Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Clinton Smith, Galen, Bargerstock with us this morning. That's the intro to this segment. GCES. With its snazzy jingle, too. How about that? Morning, gentlemen. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, Todd?
It's good to have you both with us here this morning as we talk about GCES, what it is, what it does, who you guys are. Clinton, we've met you before often. Galen, it's our first chance to meet you.
Yeah, this is my first time here. I'm excited.
Good to have you both here with us here today to find out about GCES, what you do, and what you're doing here this morning, Clinton.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is exciting. First time I'm here, actually, for my own company, our own company. Typically we're here doing stuff for United Way or Alice Paul House, but a lot of people don't even understand what we do. You know, we started out primarily specializing in government employees, and we've worked over since 2010 with postal employees, VA employees, anyone that works for the federal government over 39 states. Mm-hmm. But we've started to realize that we can help more than just federal employees, and that there are a lot of people even here in our community that still need help on their investments, their retirement. And really, to sum up what we are, for a year, before we moved to Indiana for an entire year, we were actually a prudential office from like 2014 until 2015. So Galen recently got his financial advisor license, so he's a financial advisor now, and we've decided to actually open up our doors to everyone rather than just specializing in federal employee retirement plans.
Yeah, Galen, that's a pretty wide net to cast, isn't it?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, because it is new, but no, because I've been working with the spouses of all the federal employees that I meet with. So working with different pensions, understanding different aspects of retirement, it kind of comes naturally to me. Mm-hmm. So it's really just trying to find the time to make this all happen.
People are puzzled, though, when it comes to retirement and to what other services that they'll need to avail themselves of as they get down through their work careers and their professions, and money starts to come in, or it doesn't at the rate that they want it to prepare for retirement. I guess that's what you're all about.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long process, retirement. You have to start thinking about it, right when you get hired. You have to elect what you're putting into your 401ks. And then as you age, life is also going to hit you at the same time, and you're going to have unexpected bills. You're going to have to spend money for things that you didn't anticipate. So retirement, your goal for retirement might have to be postponed. Sometimes it could be sooner. But, I mean, honestly, it's a case-by-case basis on what the recommendation would be that a person would need to do.
Yeah, and people need to be guided through that whole process, don't they, Clinton?
I mean, I think of it kind of like a plumber or an electrician. You can do your own plumbing work. You could do your own electrician work, but that's also, there's a lot of things that you might not know when you're casually trying to get into it and do it yourself. Someone to help you plan your retirement that understands what's out there is really important. And I don't think a lot of people think that they even need that. People will think, I've worked at the post office, for example, for 30 years, I'll be fine, but there is some planning that goes into it. And the sooner you start planning, the better the outcome is going to be.
I've done my own plumbing and I've done my own electricity. Let's just say that when you're wiring your own place, it can be really shocking.
Yeah. Yes, it can. Yeah.
But yeah, you end up calling in the professionals to clean up the mess that you made of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I always remember my mother, she tried to hook up a ceiling fan one time, mm-hmm. and somehow it would change the speed instead of the light coming on and off. So There's so many, and it stayed like that forever, but had we called an actual electrician, it would have been a different story.
Yeah. So you got to call the pros in to help you get through this. Galen, take us through the very first steps. Somebody comes to see you at GCES who has no experience really in savings and in collecting everything that is needed for retirement. What's the first thing you're going to tell them in that very first meeting?
Well, it's pretty much just getting to know the person, talking what you actually have, what your goals are to accomplish, what you feel like you need to have into retirement. So there's a lot of, fact finding. It's a lot kind of like a mechanic. I have to look under the hood and I have to see what you have all going on inside of there before I could even try to remotely to tell you what you need to do. So I have to understand not just your personal assets, also kind of the children. Are you still supporting your children? Do you need to have funds going out for college? That process probably takes about 20, 30 minutes. And then after I figure out everything that you have, then we look at, well, is what you have what you should have? And a lot of the times, especially with federal employees, what I find is that they have purchased the wrong life insurance. Or everybody kind of thinks that, if they're on a group platform and their employer has life insurance for them, and they are matching 401ks, and I don't bash any of that stuff because it all serves a purpose. But whatever your actual needs are depends on what you should be in. Mm-hmm. So the life insurance has always been my biggest pet peeve. People are purchasing the wrong life insurance policies or thinking that they already have the coverage that they need. But then once I explain to them how it works, they realize that that's not going to be there in retirement. So they have to kind of stutter step and figure out a new way of handling that.
Are people intimidated when they first get involved in this whole process?
Very intimidated. I mean, the biggest thing that people tell me is, number one, they should have met with me a long time ago, which is true because the earlier you start planning, the better chance it is of having a better retirement. But, what people actually say is they're scared. They're terrified. You've never retired before. You've always worked. You've ran around and you've done all of this stuff, but you've never really thought about everything that you have. How is that going to last a lifetime? And then, especially in Western Pennsylvania, people want to leave on money to their loved ones. There's not a lot of spending the 401ks from what I see. It's more leaving family legacy and providing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything also, whenever he sits down with someone, he's going to go over what are you going to get from Social Security? What are you going to get from your 401k? What are you going to get from old investments that you might have? How is the life insurance going to correlate over into retirement? Are you still going to have that coverage after you retire? And he puts all of those things together and figures out, okay, if you want to retire in 3 months, you're going to make this much money from all of these places, and then compare that to what people are making now. And that's really how people can get a good look at their retirement to understand, right now I'm making $1,000 a month. In retirement, I'll make $990. I'll make $1,200. And that's how we really get people to understand and look at what their income is going to be like in retirement. Because really, in the end, that's what it boils down to, and to figuring out how much money people are going to make every month in retirement.
Mm-hmm. So the services that you've offered until this point, or maybe not until this point, but mostly in the past, have been for government employees. Is it that much different between folks who are employees of private companies?
No, I think all of the stuff works the same. The IRS still has the same rules, whether you're a federal employee or not. Social Security still has the same rules. It's just changing. The federal employees have a thrift savings plan. Everyone else calls it a 401k in the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. So there's just little minute differences. Federal employees get some extra benefits. They get to retire at 56 with 30 years of service. But really going over into the civilian and, normal everyday people's market, if you're working and you're putting money away for retirement, we're able to help you.
Yeah. GCES is the acronym by which you're known, and that is probably the easiest way that folks can think of you. Somebody wants to learn more about what you do and who you are. Somebody wants to set up a meeting. What should they be doing right now?
You can check us out on our website, www.gces.us. You can also stop into our office at 1780 Philadelphia Street, and stop in and talk to us and set up an appointment and come in and sit down.
Mm-hmm. Galen, you said something earlier that I thought was kind of intriguing, and that was that folks need to start thinking about this really, really early in the whole process. From the time you get your first job?
I believe so, but the reality is that you don't have time to. That's when you're raising your children. They're the youngest at that point, and you're running around and you're spending more money than ever. The best time to focus on doing it is at the beginning, but reality hits you, and you can't really do it until later on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times people, like my age or below or even a little bit above, you just don't have time to address it.
Yeah. And frankly, all of these options weren't there for many people for many, many years. You get up into people who are in their 50s, 60s, even early 70s when the different investment options, the different retirement options were handled entirely differently, and they have no experience at all with it.
That's correct. I mean, not just the federal. I've also learned the county pension and the state pension. And those two are changing a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. And, take the state pension, for instance. There's 16 options to retire whenever you do retire.
Yeah.
Out of those 16, what are you going to choose? Yeah. So the earlier you set up other stuff or figure out what's going on, you can kind of hone in on what elections you should be making.
Which works best for me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the thing to not do is just sit around and do nothing, right, Clinton?
Yeah. We make it easy, honestly. A lot of people are intimidated whenever they come in, but we've gotten a lot of people that said, thank you so much. I was so scared to retire. You guys made it easy. Now they're retired. So
we're going to, over the course of these next couple of months, I hope, and maybe longer, talk about what you do and get into specific situations, maybe some case examples of folks that you've helped and how others could be helped by you. As we bring these segments to you. I think what we're doing, twice a month?
Every other week for a couple months, okay. I believe. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If anyone has questions, that's what we were going to say. If anyone has questions, they can submit them to us. Shauna, that's behind the Facebook Live video in the office with us today, is
Hi, Shauna. Shauna's over there.
Shauna. Shauna's our marketing director. She's going to be taking questions for us throughout the week. So if anyone has a specific question, they can submit it beforehand, and we can cover it while we're in here with you.
Okay, so how do they get in touch with Shauna?
Shauna at GCES.us. They can email questions, or they can just give her a call at 724-915-0006.
Shauna is S-H-A-U-N-A?
S-H-A-W-N-A. Yeah.
S-H-A-W-N-A at GCES.us.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, guys, thanks so much for this initial visit. We'll look forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you so much, Todd.
Thanks for having us.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Fox News comes your way at the top of the hour, but we've got much to do between now and then, including on the way. Visit from Jake Slobodnik in the WCCS newsroom. CBS Sports with Boomer is on the way as well. And in our next half hour here on Indiana in the Morning, Patty Holmes will be coming by. We'll be talking about a social justice march on Harrisburg that is on the schedule. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. It's 825.
This is Boomer and Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck Boxes. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard.